The views and opinions expressed on any program are those of the producers and/or the persons appearing on the program and do not necessarily reflect the views and opinions of FRCMedia, Bristol Community College, or the City of Fall River.
This week on FRCmedia News, the candidates for school committee gather for our hosted candidates forum. Those on MassHealth need to renew their insurance. And the United Way gets set for its campaign event kickoff. All this and more coming up. It's Thursday, October 12th, 2023. This is FRCmedia News. I'm Keith Tebow. The candidates running for Fall River School Committee had an opportunity this week to share with voters their vision for the future of Fall River Public Schools at a candidates forum hosted by FRCmedia. 7 of the candidates on the ballot were at the forum: incumbents Kevin Aguiar, Bobby Bailey, Mimi Larrabee, Shelley Pereira, and Sarah Rodrigues. They were joined by former school committee member Thomas Corey and challenger Colin Dias. Newcomer Warren Alves was absent due to illness, and Charles Chase Jr. was not in attendance. The candidates focused on a number of topics posed by panelists from Fred TV, WSAR Radio, and the Fall River Reporter. Here's how each candidate responded to the question of what qualifications make them suited to serve on the school committee.
Besides being an incumbent, because you're right, that's not necessarily a qualification. Depends how good people think I did this past 2 years. So I have my career, my life career. I've been a nurse, I've been an educator. Now currently I work at the Department of Transitional Assistance. If you look at my life's work, it's always been working in urban communities, always with children and family, always with at-risk populations. I was a nurse at schools like RPA. I've worked at pediatric, I was a pediatric nurse for years in pediatric psych nursing. So I think that it's a passion of mine just to make sure that the job that pays my bills is also the job that fills my heart and fills my soul. I used to sell mortgages. That was fun, but it didn't feel right to me. This feels much better. And there are days when I'm at, whether it's my full-time job or this job, that you get super overwhelmed sometimes because you're dealing with so many people that struggle, and sometimes I have to put myself in check and take a deep breath and make sure they're getting the best of me. But at the end of the day, it only takes one client to just appreciate me and say thank you. And I mean, my fiance will tell you, I smile and I look at him and I'm like, oh, I just got paid. That's why I'm here, and that's why I want to do this.
So I don't think that being an incumbent actually makes us qualified to serve on the school committee. I think whenever we talk about open seats, I think we have to look at it as we have 6 open seats on the school committee every time. So being an incumbent is off the table. So I am a parent of 3 children. They each have 3 very different educational journeys. I've said it multiple times. I have one who's a high school sophomore. I've got who's a very traditional student. I have another one who is multiply disabled. And so special education is a huge focus of mine. It's where I spent the last 13 years of my personal and professional life working in. And then I've got a little one who is the epitome of your typical 8-year-old second grader. So 3 different kids, 3 different educational trajectories. I hold a doctorate in social work, and that allowed me to really focus on leadership and clinical interventions as well as education. I also teach in education right now, so I teach at multiple different higher education facilities. So just overall, I bring to that a lot of personal and professional experience that allows me to be able to have a different perspective on things.
So I originally got into running for school committee before I even had an education. I was a coach. That's the bottom line, and how I got involved was I was coaching baseball and basketball. I really enjoyed it, wanted to make a difference to the kids. Once I got involved in the school department, working on the school committee, I actually decided to go back to school and get my master's degree and an advanced degree so that I could work in a school full time. That's been something that's very rewarding for me. I've served as a guidance counselor, an adjustment counselor, a vice principal, and I currently serve as an elementary school principal. So my day job is all education. And my nighttime job, my weekend job is doing school committee work. But one of the things you got to look at when you actually want to be an elected official is, what is your goal? Is your goal as an elected official to be a yes man and just show up to a meeting and say, oh yeah, everything sounds good? Or is it to actually provide some oversight? That's what we get elected to do, is actually question things and actually provide some oversight. That's something that I pride myself on having done over the 14 years that I've served on the school committee. Sometimes I stand alone on a vote. Sometimes I vote with a majority. But at the end of the day, a true elected official needs to do the research and make a decision that's informed and in the best interest of the children or your constituents. And I do that on a regular basis. So I would just say anybody that's in politics needs to ask that question, is what's the purpose of doing this job? Do you want to provide oversight, or do you want to just be a yes man? And I'm telling you right now, I'm not a yes man. I'm going to do what I think is right, and I put the time and effort in order to make an informed decision on each and every decision.
I've coached, mentored, subbed, worked as a para and special ed in the district, worked at Diamond for some time. I probably worked in the district as a sub for over 8 years. Ended up leaving, getting a job at U Aspire, working at Durfee as a financial aid advisor. I've coached. I've done every single job here except get a teaching job. Reason why I left is because I never had an opportunity. I didn't know how. Never got coached on how to do those things. I am the epitome of every single kid that has to persevere to get through this district. I graduated Durfee with an 0.6 GPA, graduated my grad course with a 3.7. When we talk about resilience, I am that kid. I'm resilient. Grew up in a single parent household in a project. Mom had a 8th grade education. I relate to these kids. You want to talk about community? I'm out in the community with these kids. You want to talk about serving as a positive role model? I'm all over. I never stop working when it comes to these kids. I don't have any kids in the district, but I have nieces and nephews, and I call all these kids my kids no matter where I go. I build relationships with kids. I build relationships with teachers. I'm a great relationship builder, and I do my homework. So when it comes to, like Mr. Aguiar was saying, I'm extremely intentional. I'll take tonight's meeting, I go home, I'll dissect it, I'll figure out what I did wrong and how we can move on.
So I'm barely the youngest on this stage tonight. However, I believe I can relate to the students because, one, I just graduated high school a few years ago, and I still am a student. I attend Bridgewater State University, and as just Bobby said, I'm in a similar boat as him. I didn't have the best GPA in high school, and I'm on track to graduate with about 3.4 GPA, fingers crossed. I believe the community has seen myself be a big advocate for doing what's right for the community, either on the school committee level, the city level, whatever level. I believe everyone knows I'm not going to be a yes man. I'm going to go in. I have a lot to learn, of course. But I'm surrounded by a lot of great people on the stage who are going to help me if I'm elected. I'm going to ask the tough questions, and I'm going to demand honest answers, and I believe I'm going to provide fierce accountability for the school department. Again, the community has seen me advocate. I advocated one thing I'm proud of 2 years ago. We had a citizens input policy that was abysmal. People would go before the school committee. They'd take my citizens input, tear it up. It was terrible. But I advocated, I fought. I worked with the ACLU, and I had a new citizens input policy that I advocated for, passed 6-1.
I'm a lifelong Fall River resident. I was educated in Fall River schools the entire time from kindergarten through Durfee High School. My mom was a factory worker, and she looked at me and she pointed her finger and she said, "You will go to college," because that really changed my life and made my life, become aspirational. I'm a product of UMass Dartmouth, and I have a master's in counseling. My wife is a 34-year educator. I'm a 30-year educator, primarily out of Durfee High School, but I worked also at the middle schools and the elementary schools as well. I was an advisor to 2 award-winning programs that we started with the kids. One Earth, One People Under the Sun, as well as Peaceful Coalition, which was an anti-violence, anti-gang group. So my work is directly on the ground level with the kids. When I retired from all of those years, I decided immediately to run for school committee because education is my life, it's my passion.
My whole adult career has been spent working with our inner city youth from Fall River up until 6 months ago. But I've developed so many relationships with parents, with students, with family members, with co-workers, and basically all with the youth and their futures in mind. Okay, so I've developed curriculums that were focused on youth development and implemented them. I have, right at the beginning when I ran for school committee 4 years ago about that, I noticed such a big gap between community and schools where, I thought it was time to advocate for our youth at a different level. I wanted to try to do this to try to get a better understanding of, try to get a better understanding of why there was that big gap. And I wanted to be part of the solution. And right at the beginning, my platform was to bridge the gap between community and schools. And I've been working diligently to try to make that happen.
The candidates also had an opportunity to offer input as to how the district can address the problem of chronic absenteeism.
So attendance has been an issue here for a long, long time. And what we've done is we've added staff, we've added a lot of attendance officers and the like, but I think one of the real keys is that we've been adding mental health workers, we've been adding school adjustment counselors. Some of the students that are not coming to school, they have issues not only with themselves, but the entire family. So we need to provide opportunities and services to not only help the children, but the families, the adults as well. That's one way. The second way is we need to be a lot more intense with our case management. We can no longer let students just, if they're not feeling well or we're not going to show up to school, we have to be intense and we have to be able to work with families and build relationships. One of the things we've done over the last several years is we bought attendance vehicles, something that I pushed for very hard with one-time monies. So a student comes, I've worked in a school before, I've had parents say, can you talk to little Johnny because he's not getting out of bed? That's what our staff is doing and working every day in. Now we have a resource to say, no, we're going to get in that attendance vehicle, and this gentleman and I, we're going to go pick you up, and we're going to bring you to school because we care about you, and you need to be in school. I think we really just need to be intense on all things relative to attendance. And I think we're starting to get there. We finally have enough staff, and we have the pieces in place, but we just need to ratchet up the intensity because there is no excuse for a student. You cannot learn if you are not in school.
I think there's so many nuances that go on. I don't think there's just one direct reason why kids don't show up. I mean, different people have different issues in their family, right? Mine might look different than the other person's, but I think really learning these families, I think we did a great job. We put some community liaisons in to kind of build relationships with this family. I think we need to dive deeper. We need to really listen to families and help them. I continuously talk about resources and programming, tapping into some of our community partners and also seeing what that looks like. Obviously, there's an issue going on not just in the nation, in the world right now, and trying to get people back to work. It could be someone watching their little brother or sister so mom and dad can get to work. Who knows, what the reason is, but I think it's really sitting down and meeting families. And like I said, it's across our Commonwealth, it's across the country right now. I think we're making strides. I think, and like I hate to say it, but sometimes I keep bringing up COVID. I think that had a real impact on us. So for me personally, like I said, I just think there's many nuances, and I think once we get to know these families and know these kids a little bit better, we can start building those relationships and actually ask them and take poll and see what that looks like. Because I don't really think anyone sitting on this stage really has a direct answer on what that looks like.
A few ways we can tackle this issue, because we know why. There's a lot of different reasons to why, but what can I do as one school committee member? What can I advocate for? Attendance, again, I want to be an advocate for a more inclusive environment. Whether you live in the Highlands, the Flint, the North End, or the South End, we need to give a voice to everyone. If I'm elected, I'm going to be a big proponent for constituent services. If a parent has an issue, if anyone has an issue, you can reach out to me, and I'm going to be a voice for transparency, that we get your concern addressed in an open and transparent manner. We need to get politics out of the way. Local politics in the city has been an issue for a long time. But directly on to attendance, again, we need to reach out to parents. We need to go to them. I don't think we do enough of that. More PTO meetings, more parent workshops in their neighborhoods. It doesn't always have to be in the schools. Let's go out to them. Let's use our technology. We have technology. It's easier to go on a Zoom meeting than it is to actually come to a place. Let's use group chats. Let's have a group chat. Let's have open collaboration and open dialogue. And if I'm elected, I'm going to be a big proponent for open collaboration and dialogue with everyone, no matter what part of the city you're from.
Back in 2018, when I was on the school committee then, one of my first tasks was to join the attendance task force. And it was a very viable task force. We had nurses, we had some physicians, we had a lot of school personnel, we had truant officers, we had SROs, we had community activists all sitting together and scratching their heads. And truant officers literally ripped their hair out trying to find some type of solution to this conundrum of a problem that the public schools in Fall River have. It's been going on for years. Now, transportation feeds into this issue as well, so it's not a standalone issue. So when I was on the committee before, I proposed a novel idea of bringing the adjustment counselor, the guidance counselor, and the vice principal to the housing authority projects, community centers, with the housing authority people, bringing the parents into the meeting. We provide pizza for them, and now we discuss their child's schooling and report card grades. But you know, after we polled the entire project, maybe about 15 parents showed. So I think we're sitting on a cultural problem.
We had a big kickoff at Kennedy Park, and one of the biggest statements was something that the planning committee, planning the back to school block party came up with, and it was hashtag show up for FRPS, my apologies, hashtag show up FRPS. And that came down, we have a new assistant superintendent, I believe her title is student services, who is going to be dedicated to turning this around, to doing the best job she possibly can to turn this around. And she knows that it's going to take a whole community effort. Okay, what are these kids doing at night? What are these kids doing to keep themselves busy? What are we doing in the schools to keep them busy, to keep them engaged? Why do they want to come back to school? You know, what are we doing? What people do we have that are boots on the ground? Okay, we say we have the attendance officers, we say we have all these new SEL liaisons, we have guidance counselors. Are they out? Are they at the doors? Are they banging at the doors and say, let's go, where's your child? And get through to these guardians and caregivers, parents, grandparents. We're dealing with grandparents who are raising their children these days. You know, it's tough for them. Some grandparents have 2 kids, 3 kids.
We wish that we had the answer for this, right? But obviously we've heard a lot of the same things, which is parent involvement. I mean, K through whatever grade, whose attendance, 100% attendance is that? Is that the students or is that mom or dad's? Let's be honest here. So we need our parents to be involved. We need to engage them in the process, again, from the beginning. There's a million different ways we can do that, but I think each school has to take that creativity on their own. Every principal and every school knows their students the best. They know the barriers of those families and students the best, right? So I think we don't have to do the same thing across the board in every school to bring attendance up. Every school may require something a little bit different, a different initiative. I think school culture is a big thing. If we're excited about being there and our teachers are excited about being there and our paras are excited and I'm getting high fives, I'm gonna be more excited about being there, right? That's just like anything. Transportation is a huge issue. I mean, I joked the other day on the radio, but yeah, if you gave me millions and millions of dollars and I could pick up every kid, I'd bring you a 90% an over-attendance rate. That's the reality of what we're dealing with. But we need to find the barriers that we can figure out, whether it's looking into transportation or figuring out why we have kids in school refusal situations. And then figure out individually, this isn't just a one check fits all or whatever. It's individual based on school and student.
I don't think it's as complex as folks may kind of look at this, because we have other districts that are very similar to ours that actually do really well with attendance. So I think we have to look at other models to see what it is that they're doing. If you do look at some of those, what you'll find is that there is a complete wraparound total school home community partnership approach to getting kids and families through the door. So we're looking at what are some of the barriers to getting kids into school. So we're looking at physical health, we're looking at mental health issues. I'm the first to tell you that our mental health issues have risen dramatically in the last 5 to 10 years. We're seeing more and more kids presenting with issues as young as 3 and 4 years old. Family circumstances, family emergencies where our kids are responsible caretakers for other members of their family. We're seeing transportation, we're seeing safety concerns, we're seeing housing instability, food insecurity, and those things continue to grow. But the biggest factor is really that lack of engagement from our kids and families. And so how do we do that? We collaborate with our stakeholders. We establish clear attendance policies that are not punitive, because research will show you that scare tactics do not work to get anybody through the door. In fact, they will drive folks away. We develop a positive school culture by creating scenarios where our staff are going out into homes and we're doing that work. I think what it comes down to is one caring adult can really start forming those relationships to get our kids in the seats.
That school committee forum is one of 3 election events hosted by FRC Media. Join us right after this newscast tonight at 6:30 p.m. as incumbent Mayor Paul Coogan and former Mayor and District Attorney Sam Sutter will square off in a mayoral debate. I will serve as moderator, and questions will be asked by reporters from FRG-TV, WSAR, and the Fall River Reporter. You can watch the debate right here on Channel 95, FRG-TV Channel 18. You can listen on WSAR Radio or view online on the FRC Media, FRG-TV, and Fall River Reporter Facebook pages. And then next Tuesday, October 17th, we'll be holding a forum of 2 panels, one at 6 p.m. and another at 8 p.m., featuring the candidates running for City Council. Since the official end of the pandemic, state residents receiving MassHealth benefits have been required to renew their coverage. The redetermination process began in April, with those who needed to renew receiving a special blue envelope in the mail with instructions on the steps to keep their insurance.
When members receive their blue envelope, they have 45 days to respond to their renewal form. Members can respond to their renewal form online, by phone, mail, fax, or they can go to a MassHealth enrollment center or find a certified application counselor in their area as well for support. Members can get their renewal form anytime throughout the year. We'll do our best to automatically renew someone, which means that they'll have their coverage maintained without having to take action. But members who receive that blue envelope need to respond to receive the best benefit they're eligible for, and they could receive that benefit anytime from April when this began through the end of this process through the end of March. But this year is particularly important because for some folks this is the first time they've ever gone through a renewal, and for other folks they may not have done it in a few years because of those COVID protections. But moving forward every year, folks will need to renew their MassHealth.
Fall River is one of 15 communities across the Commonwealth with the highest percentage of MassHealth recipients, and the state is partnering with local social service organizations in getting the word out about the renewal and helping residents with the process. Among the organizations in this effort in Fall River is Share Jobs for Progress.
Just Friday night, there was the drive-in movie night and family resource fair up at Durfee High School, and our outreach team was tabling there. There are lots more Halloween-related family events going on throughout the city. They've already reached out and gotten their tabling spot reserved, and we're always on the lookout for community events, particularly events that target different populations in our city, so in different neighborhoods. So it's been great, and we've had lots of opportunities, and we'll keep looking for those.
Residents who are denied MassHealth benefits during renewal are directed to utilize the Massachusetts Health Connector network to find affordable health care options. We'll have more FRC Media News right after this.
Here are some job descriptions on the latest hot jobs list from the MassHealth Fall River Career Center. Immigration attorney, Catholic Social Services of Fall River, located at 795 Middle Street, is looking for a full-time immigration attorney to provide free and low-cost legal services to low-income immigrants in southeastern Massachusetts. Job number 197-66697. Cashier associate, Burlington Department Store, located at 181 Mariano Bishop Boulevard, is seeking a full-time cashier associate to register sales on a cash register by scanning items, itemizing and totaling customers' purchases. Job number 197-68740. Patient Services Representative, Aspen Dental, located at 824 William S. Canning Boulevard, is looking for a full-time patient services representative to schedule and confirm patient appointments, collect co-payments, and verify insurance coverage. Job number 197-75055. Customer Support Agent, Isaacson Solar, located at 18 Pecasset Street, is looking for a full-time customer support agent. For more information, call 508-717-3820. Primacare, located at 277 Pleasant Street, has an immediate need for the following full and part-time positions. Vascular sonographer, job number 197-68420. Licensed practical nurse, job number 197-68419. For more information about these and other positions, visit MassHire JobQuest at jobquest.dcs.eol.mass.gov or call the MassHire Fall River Career Center at 508-730-5000.
Welcome back. The Fall River City Council this week put on hold a second request by the Coogan administration to sell the Bank Street Armory to a local developer looking to convert the historic building into a mix of market rate and affordable housing. The council voted 4-3 last month to sell the Armory to developer Alan Macumber. The measure did not move forward as 6 votes were required for passage. At that meeting, councilors Leo Pelletier and Pamela Liberty were not in attendance. At this week's meeting, Councilor Michelle Dion argued that because the sale failed to get the requisite number of votes last month, the matter is not properly before the council.
Are we setting a precedent? Is this what we're going to do moving forward? Every time the city council takes a vote and the vote does not meet expectations or the intended result, we're asked to put it right back on and vote on it again. I don't believe that's the way it is supposed to be. Was the vote that we took executed properly? Yes. Was it a legal vote? Yes. Did it conform to Mass General Law and Charter guidelines? Yes.
Some councilors and many residents have spoken out against the sale, pleading for the city to save the historic structure for use by residents and veterans. In the end, Councilor Linda Pereira objected to the vote on Tuesday, putting an end to the discussion until the next council meeting later this month. Next week, the United Way of Greater Fall River will hold its kickoff event to its 2023-2024 fundraising campaign.
We host an event on October 21st. It's usually the third Saturday in October. This is our 4th year, so we're I think, confident to call it an annual event now, and that is the United We Move kickoff, and it's a trail fest. This year, a couple new things. We've added a 5K walk-run combo. 5K seems to be more of the unit of measure that runners tend to gravitate towards, so we're testing that out, and I think so far seeing more folks signed up there. It's sure to be a whole lot of fun. It's really an event meant for the entire family to be all-inclusive, kind of bring everybody in, walkers, runners, and cyclists, getting out there and enjoying the bioreserve and really kind of living that health and education aspect of the United Way.
That's all for this edition of FRC Media News. Please visit our website at frmedia.org for all the latest news and local information. FRC Media News airs Thursdays at 6 p.m. and Fridays at 5:30 p.m. For all of us at FRC Media News, I'm Keith Tebow. Stay tuned next for our FRC Media mayoral debate. Thanks for watching. We'll see you next Thursday.